Greetings and welcome. My name is Jeff Browson. I'm an application engineer here at Linux. I just have a quick 5 to 10-minute presentation on importing engineering files. Is always a very popular discussion. You know, here at Linux, we do a lot of presentations with various customers, and this is a question that we tend to be asked quite a bit. So I'll give you just a minute or two or a second or two rather, to adjust your screens if you guys need to, and we'll go ahead and start the presentation. A couple of the things to point out. This is SOLIDWORKS 2010 on Windows 7 64-bit. It runs beautifully with the Windows 7 64. It's just been an absolute joy to work with. Before we get into how we'd rather work, let's talk about what typically happens in a quick conversation regarding file types. This is, you know, for just about every presentation I do, I actually will show this list of file types that SOLIDWORKS can open. And, you know, when I give the demonstration, and it's like, ooh, you know, we can open those files, and you know, the customer pretty much looks at us and says, you know, yes, I kind of hope you would be able to do that, but what's the true advantage? Well, you know, plain and simply, the quick advantage to that is, well, if my customer is using ProE or Inventor or Solid Edge, to name a few, what we can do is we don't have to go back to the customer and ask for a different file type. Okay, for me, that's step one. Is you don't have that inconvenience of going back to your customer who is busy. You're busy. It takes time to open up those files, save them out as a different file type, and then send them to you. So straight off the bat, that's a clear-cut advantage. But it goes deeper than that, and that's really why I wanted to show this discussion. Is how would you rather work? We talked about, you know, plain and simply, if your customers are not using SOLIDWORKS, okay, they're using ProE, Inventor, Solid Edge, and maybe you're using one of those products as well. But you own a software, you use a software that they don't, okay? So you don't own the software. So a customer will send you an Inventor file. Well, you know what, you're using ProE or vice versa. What do? You have to call them up. You have to say, please, you know, customer, please save that out as a general file format for me to use. That is the other step of that process. Is notice what happens is your customer's CAD file format, they run through a translation. This is where you're going to save your bang for the buck. So it's not even just the capability of opening it up, but what is the end result when they run through that translation process to a step where IGES, neutral file formats there, and then you bring it into your CAD system. A lot of times what will happen is, you know, and it's always a conversation of what are you going to do with the file. Are you going to just look at it to see what it's doing, or are you going to build around it? Are you going to build a fixture around it? Are you going to do mold design with it? Are you going to build it out of sheet metal? You know, what's the next step in the design process? This translation is one of those things that will come back to bite you. It is just one of those things that's going to just add more work to you. Okay, so would you rather do that, or would you have to like to work with SOLIDWORKS? Okay, that's the advantage. This is a technical advantage versus just that convenience. First of all, is if you have a customer that, hey, you know what, it doesn't matter what they use. Ask for those native file formats. You can open it up, and notice you're skipping that translation process. There is no translation. You're letting SOLIDWORKS do it. It's going to be a lot better, a lot cleaner import when you do that. So that is just a quick introduction in what I'd like to show you, and let's go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go. I have a file type that is not SOLIDWORKS. Okay, and we give these presentations all the time. So if you'd like, you know, drop us a line if you'd like to see this with your files. Obviously, that's something that we can do. This is not a SOLIDWORKS file. I need to be clear there. It is not a SOLIDWORKS file. I'm going to just go ahead and open it up. And look at that. SOLIDWORKS is intelligent enough to know, hey, this isn't a SOLIDWORKS file. Do you want to run import diagnostics? This is where you're going to find edges that aren't, you know, straight, edges that are not lining up with another edge, gaps in the model, things like that. But I'm going to run import diagnostics. This is typically step one in any import process. And to be honest, I got lucky here. This was a file type that a customer sent me, and it looks very clean, and I don't have any issues. Well, you run into issues is, if you're doing any mold design and you need to, or even fixture design like I'm going to show here, if there's any broken faces, broken edges, it makes that process potentially a lot longer. And the more the worse the model, the longer it's going to take you. So just a couple things there. But maybe what I'll do is, as a version 2, I'll bring in a part that that has some rebuild errors for you guys to see that process. So stay tuned to that. That'll be a good one to show. This is also another favorite feature of mine, is feature recognition. I'm actually not going to do any feature recognition onto this, but what that does is, let's say I wanted to build, this is not a part that SOLIDWORKS built. You can actually have FeatureWorks build it as SOLIDWORKS features. In this part, that might be a little complicated, but you can absolutely do that when and if you choose to do so. So a couple other things that I tend to like to do is just, we already ran the import diagnostic. SOLIDWORKS did that for us already. I also like doing a quick check, making sure I don't have any invalid faces or edges. This is always kind of another nice go around, and notice that I'm good to go here. What I want to do is I just want to build something off of this. Now, this is really another true advantage is, what can we do with this part after it's all said and done. Let's go ahead and make that. That was actually pretty good. What can we get from this part? Well, let's also maybe take a look at this guy here as well. Because we're working with solids, we get a density. Okay, we get a mass, so how much does this sucker weigh? The volume, if I'm going to do plastic injection molding, potentially, I want to know how much material it's going to take to create that. And then surface area. If I'm going to plate it, maybe that's something I want to do a quick analysis on how much material it's going to take to plate that. But let's say I just want to create a quick, maybe a holding feature, if you will. I'm going to just go ahead and draw a rectangle. And again, I'm not, this is, maybe this is my engineering department at my company uses Pro-E. I'm on the shop floor, I'm in the manufacturing side, and you know what? It doesn't matter. I can still build off their parts. I can do all my fixture design based off of those parts. I'm going to go ahead and say up to next. Go the other direction, up to next. And as you can see, very quickly, oops, forgot one thing here. I'm going to go ahead and just unmerge these results, if you will. And very quickly, I have a fixture that is built off of that imported part. How phenomenal is that? Well, next part of this process is typically, well, hey, Jeff, that's really cool, but you know what? Engineering changes things, and being an engineer myself, or on the engineering side, that's something that we constantly do is make changes. Well, heck, notice what we can do. We can just go back to that imported part, say, hey, there's a new one. I want to select on that new one, open that up. No, we're not going to run feature recognition. Replace that imported part, and notice that all of my geometry is updated based on that new imported part. The power of SOLIDWORKS is shining again. So that's, again, just a brief introduction into this kind of design philosophy. I'll maybe show my contact information. If you guys have any questions, please give us a call. That's my direct email and phone number. These are presentations we do all the time, so if you'd like one with your parts, obviously that's a lot of fun for me to do, and I'd love to sit down with you and see if we can't work out a process for you. So thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line. Thank you.